They're coming for your children, and now they're saying if you try to put a stop to that, they're coming for you. This story broke over the weekend. LGBT activist labor unions are organizing to disrupt and destroy and intimidate Canadians' Million March protest against gender indoctrination. This story coming from the Post-Millennial, as this story has broken just recently, where it really started was a Zoom meeting amongst the union members. Actually, a large number of the members were in this meeting where they were co-conspiring. This is what the actual words that they used in this meeting. And I'll leave a link in the description for Odessa's tweet where she leaves this out there. You can go and watch the whole meeting. It's over an hour long where they get into it. The whole beginning of it, as she says, is very boring. It's all land acknowledgements, which I thought was interesting because you're on the online space, but yet they still have to do their land acknowledgements. But the representatives of the Ontario Federation of Labour, Toronto Steelworkers Union, and Ontario Division of Canadian Union of Public Employees, or QP, I think they call themselves, which is government, they're government employees. They're getting together. These unions are supposed to be there to organize for labor agreements or labor disagreements when it comes to compensation for their time and their wages. Now they're outstanding way beyond their purview as an organization, organization. That's what unions are. And they're trying to disrupt a protest that's grassroots in nature. And this, of course, is the million-person march across Canada to save the kids, or save our children, from indoctrination in the school boards. And this is, of course, having to do with gender ideology and sexual orientation. Now, getting into this, here's Odessa's tweet, the original tweet. Here's the recording. It's boring at the beginning. It's better. It gets better and better. RE breaking news. I have just been given a super private secret recording of joint union meeting held September 16th to organize strategic attacks and counter-protests against those parents, grandparents, and other concerned Canadians participating in the Million March protesting the SOGI, sex activist takeover of our schools. Disrupt, demoralize, destroy, bully, intimidate is the key messaging throughout the meeting. I'm trying to find out the legal implications in releasing it. There are leakers secretly on our side in this meeting. Now, I had to look up SOGI so that everybody would know what that means. It's a nice sounding acronym, but what it stands for is sexual orientation and gender identity. And this is defined by the government of British Columbia here in BC. And it talks about what's being taught in schools. Now, many people are opposed to this idea that, I mean, we should be teaching our children STEM things, reading, writing, arithmetic. Why is all of this stuff getting involved with minors, especially minors you shouldn't be talking about sexual things with, or talking about these types of things? It's grossly inappropriate for them to be discussing this, but nonetheless, this is what's actually happening in this case. Now, many people have been coming out against this meeting that's happened with these union organizers, and many people are union members as well, and I'll get into that. Now, QP Ontario has put out a tweet, and with this graphic, no space for hate in Ontario. Obviously, they're not just in Ontario. This is just the Ontario branch, and they span across the country. The Union of Public Workers. The ultra-conservative right has organized nationwide. It's funny because everything gets labeled in these hyperbolic terms. But this isn't a hyperbolic meeting of people when it comes to the million-person march. These are people from all over, different walks of life. It was largely started when Christians and Muslims got together and decided, let's put this on because we're tired of what these teachers are saying that they want to do to our children in schools, and saying that they have no say in that. So anyway, calling it an ultra-conservative right organization. nationwide is under the pretext of protecting the children, while their true aim is to protest the teaching of 2S LGBTQAI content in schools. Well, that would be them trying to protect their children from this content. Our mission is clear to counter these protests and demonstrate unequivocally that there is no space for hate within our society. We shall stand together, resolute in our community and in our commitment to combat lies and disinformation while championing love, care, and respect. Obviously, not even listening to what the people's grievances are. This has never been about if people want to be gay or any of that stuff. People can be gay. It's fine. Nobody cares. Just don't bring that up with children. It's inappropriate. And yeah, people are just not very happy with that. Now, in the comments here, you have QP members that are saying, I'm a QP member and you do not speak for me. I'm also a liberal, as in liberalism, not the Liberal Party voter, as they are not true liberals. Anyway, on this issue, I stand 100% behind the so-called ultra-conservative right. Parental rights are greater than state rights. And absolutely, this is what it's really about. This is about parental rights. This is about people getting in the way of children. If you get in the way of children, the term going around is mama bear, right? We all know that if you get in between a bear and its cubs, you're bound to get attacked. And this is what it's about. And I'm not advocating for any physical attacks or anything like that, but people are standing up. People are standing up for their rights as parents. Now, Marty up north says, this story that's breaking about unions getting ready to counter-protest the million-person march on September 20th is just one more reason why I don't think civil servants should be allowed to vote while they are employed by government. They're in clear conflict of interest. And that is a hot take you'll definitely hear about on Thursday morning, as I always have Marty on every week to discuss a lot of the things that are happening around Canada. So look forward to that. We're going to be talking about this one. You know, some people are disagreeing, some people are agreeing in the comments about this. But they should definitely, as a union, their purview is not social issues. That's not their purview. Their purview should be about the wages and you know, safety of their workers in the environments that their you know, their jobs are in. This has nothing to do with the purview of those unions. Now, Blueprint for Canada has come out and said we will not tolerate indoctrination in our schools or intimidation tactics. On Wednesday, September 20th, parents across Canada will take to the streets en masse to defend their children. Protest sites below, and I'll leave a link in the description where you can go check out where all the local protests are. Now, this man, he came out and put a video together to say, you know, I came from another country to come to Canada, not to be subjected to the things that I left in the old world.
I grew up overseas, and I remember when I moved to Canada, I was so overjoyed to be in a country that's truly free, to actually have rights and be safe. No more car bombs, no more gas masks, no more political violence. I had rights. I could say anything I wanted. I could do anything I wanted. Heck, I could probably be anything I wanted. Canada would be my home. And that wasn't just for me. Like my parents, I also thought about my children to come and even their children. We could finally live with freedom, dignity, and respect. What happened? Am I not good enough anymore? Do I have to amalgamate who I am to an ever-shifting culture? Do I have to concede my values? And those are my kids? What do we have to do? Do I have to be a part of a special, protected, and privileged group of people so that I can have rights again? I refuse. And so do 1 million Canadian people who are going to stand together on September 20th, nationwide, ready to die for their children and protect them against a sexual doctrine that's been mandated and pushed into educational curriculums. On September 20th, we will stand firm. We will demonstrate peacefully, and we will unapologetically stand in defiance so that we can protect our values. We have a right to raise our children the way that we see fit. They are not children of the state, and we will make them leave our kids alone. If you have children, if you have values, you are part of this movement. This will be the greatest demonstration in Canadian history, and we all get to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And I would encourage anyone who wants to go to this protest not to engage with any of the counter protesters, because as you know, that there will be there. Now, how many there will be is unclear. I don't think they have the unions actually getting their employees to go and come out to this. In fact, I would assume that a lot of the union employees are actually on the other side. They'll be on the side of the parents and looking for parental rights and protesting for that cause in general, and that's where this all comes from. Now, I would actually encourage people that are going to this event to, again, not focus on the detractors of the event, but take this opportunity to meet people that you would not ever otherwise have the chance to meet in these events. A lot of like-minded people will be there, and it'll be a perfect opportunity for people to organize in their own way, and that's I think where we are. But let's just to get a clear glimpse at just the insanity of this. This is what people are standing up for. Here's an example of one of the teachers who, I mean, just this is how unhinged some of these people are. And this is what's being stuck up for. This is what people are trying to protect their children from when they send them to schools. Now, earmuffs for any of the kids in the room. Bit of language on this one.
The concept of chosen families really young, and it wasn't anything to do with my queerness, but just based on the fact that I didn't have the love at home that I needed, and I knew that I was valuable and deserved it, so I found it on my own early on. And, you know, I shouldn't be blamed for that, because blood still exists. You were never there for me, and I found my own love, and that's okay, and I think everybody should be allowed to do that, and that's what I fucking teach in the classroom, okay? I always say give it to your friend, not your mom, because fuck your mom. And I don't know, I just am so sad. I am so sad, and I hate my sister. She's a fucking cunt. That's all I have to say.
That's my major problem with school. I really don't do anything unless I actually want to do it. And most of the time, I don't want to do anything at all.
These are the people that are being, you're giving your kids to. Now, of course, this isn't the case for every student in every classroom, but these people exist, and this is what these unions are actually trying to protect. You're trying to protect. They're trying to protect these people from you, the parent, from doing this. Now, where have we seen this before in history? Here's an excerpt from a movie that's talking about the current climate and how it's mirroring the Cultural Revolution in China.
My school principal actually came to me several times and told me not to be a part of my parents and to report any activity that my parents would do. They're instilling all the lies and hatred into the younger generation.
The young people are used today to do the American Cultural Revolution, to turn the kids basically not to trust their parents anymore. And say, oh, my parents don't understand me, I'm confused, I need to turn to my teachers, turn to other authority figures. Look at the multicultural revolution to say, how many similarities are there?
This has happened over and over again. This is exactly what's going on here. We're watching the cultural revolution take place in our own society, and the struggle sessions are against us, the parents.
That will happen.
You are happy with what was happening in the USSR between 1917.
We make a critique of it. That's why we're Maoists. We make a critique of it in order to improve socialism the next time it comes around and throws people like your ass into a labor camp.
Throws you into a labor camp. Now, this is the reality of what we're seeing in schools. There's something fishy about this movement. Talking about the slippery slope, it has gone from legitimate concerns about harassment and discrimination and compelled speech, forced compliance, indoctrination, and legal penalties for even questioning methods. From live and let live to you will live as I say you will live. You will like what I say you will like. It has gone from compassion to aggression. And this is what Canadian parents are standing up against. So I'm going to end this one on a really, really sad note. This is the story of Sage. This is Sage Blair. Her school transitioned her to a male without letting her grandparents, adoptive parents, know, and encouraged her to use the boys' bathroom despite her getting threats of physical violence. I can't say those words here. She had a psychotic breakdown, ran away, got kidnapped, and got sexually assaulted and trafficked by multiple men. She was eventually rescued, but the public defender claimed that the parents weren't sufficiently affirming of Soji's gender identity due to her grandfather, adoptive father, calling her she when overcome with emotion, so the parents weren't allowed to have her back. She got put into a boys' juvenile facility since she was a boy, technically, under their thoughts here. And while there was she was there, she was also assaulted one more time. Then she escaped the facility and was once again kidnapped, assaulted, starved, and tortured. Eventually, she was rescued and returned with her parents, but she has to go through tremendous amounts of therapy for the rest of her life. The grandparents, adoptive parents, are now suing the Virginia School Board, where it originally started, the school counselors and the public defender. It was absolutely insane that Sage had to suffer so much, all because the school didn't say anything to her parents in the beginning. And this is what people are fighting against. They're fighting against this, absolutely. So let me know in the comments down below, or will you be attending this event? Where are you going to be attending this event at? Are you going to be pulling your kids from school on the day in protest? Is this something that interests you, or are you nervous about the unions that are organizing against this? Anyway, for the sake of the video, I'm going to cut this short. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.